News Talk 610 AM and 102.1 FM. KBNU.
KBNU News Time is 4:05. I'm Bill Walter with this news update brought to you by Logan Dental Associates. A 29-year-old Logan man has admitted to threatening a woman with a knife during a domestic dispute. Decker Becky has been in the Cache County Jail since being arrested in April. Becky appeared last Monday in First District Court for a change of plea hearing. He pleaded guilty to aggravated assault, a third-degree felony. The charge carries a maximum sentence of 5 years in prison. As part of the plea agreement, prosecutors dropped a remaining charge of aggravated burglary. On April 26, Logan City police officers were called to a duplex near 930 North, 300 West at around 2:30 a.m. The victim explained how Becky had shown up asking for drugs. The woman told police that she had awakened to find Becky holding a box cutter blade to her throat. He had reportedly entered her home unlawfully while she was sleeping. The victim stated that Becky demanded her to get him illegal drugs. He also cut his own forearm to show he was serious and made statements about having killed people before, according to the police report. Officers located Becky locked inside a bedroom. He was later taken into custody without incident. KBNU News Time is 4:06. KBNU weather for tonight. Partly cloudy skies, then mostly cloudy overnight, low near 15. Cloudy and around 40 degrees on Saturday. Breezy Saturday night, slight chance of snow, and then a chance of snow after midnight. Snow likely Sunday morning, and then rain and snow in the afternoon with accumulations possible, high around 40. We're right at the freezing point right now, 32 here at KBNU. KBNU weather is brought to you by U&I Furniture. They have a big selection. The store is full of holiday specials. If you need beds for holiday guests, U&I's most popular is a therapeutic serene queen-size mattress with zone coil system and a comfy stretch knit top, only $399. Downtown Logan, always a better buy at U&I, 28 West, 1st North.
So many times at the end of the year we hear, wow, had I known I would have come in sooner. Anyway, can we get it done before the end of the year? Hi, it's Dr. Brandon Preby from Logan Dental Associates and Cherry Creek Dental in Richmond. We want to help you utilize your benefits and get the best care possible without pain or discomfort and make it affordable. Often insurance or health savings is part of that plan. Please call today for your appointment with Dr. Taylor, Larson, Harris, or Preby. Let's get you the care you need before the end of the year. Cherry Creek Dental in Richmond or Logan Dental Associates in Logan.
KBNU News Time is 4:08. A prevention coordinator at Murray High School who directs at-risk children on good behaviors is now charged with object rape, aggravated assault, and domestic violence in the presence of a child. The Murray District said it put Kendra Reese on administrative leave as soon as it was told of the charges, but that was more than 3 months after the alleged assault occurred. So from the beginning of the school year until nearly Thanksgiving, Reese was still on the job at Murray High. April Despain, a candidate for the Murray School Board who lost in the last election, called the allegations crazy and faulted the district for not widely notifying parents after it learned of the accusations. In a statement, the district defended its non-notification. The district said they had no evidence of or accusations from law enforcement or within the community that these incidents or similar conduct occurred during Ms. Reese's professional duties at the school. Circumstances of the crime and the timing of charges against Reese raised questions. On August 10th, a court document said a police officer responded to the report of domestic violence. He found the victim, an adult, with a half-moon laceration on his forehead. The person was sent to the hospital and had 10 stitches to close the wound. The Salt Lake police did not interview the victim until 3 months after the assault, saying the victim at first was not ready to talk to investigators. A license hearing for Reese is scheduled for today. And the University of Idaho will pay $90,000 to settle a lawsuit from members of a Christian law students organization who claimed their freedom of speech was violated when the school issued no contact orders against them. The settlement was filed in Idaho's U.S. District Court this week. It resolves a suit by 3 student members of the Christian Legal Society and the law school professor who serves as their faculty advisor. The group sued in April, contending the university illegally punished them for expressing their religious beliefs. Attorneys for the University of Idaho noted in court documents that the no contact orders were issued after another student reported feeling harassed by some in the group. KVNU News Time is 4:10. For more details on these and other stories, visit CacheValleyDaily.com.
Updates every 30 minutes and breaking news as it happens. News Talk KVNU, your #1 radio station for news and talk.
Did you build a new home? Regardless of how clean your builder was, your ducts will have a variety of construction debris in them. Debris like sawdust, flooring pieces, sheetrock dust, and more. You do not want to move into your home with that debris in the ductwork. Call the Duct Hunter and get on the schedule today. Call the Duct Hunter at 770-4813.
We are the Duct Hunter. Breathe better, save money, protect your home. We are the Duct Hunter.
Portable, super quiet, and fuel efficient. Honda EU Series generators are ideal for camping, tailgating, home backup power, and more. All feature Honda's CO Minder carbon monoxide detection system for added peace of mind. Select models include Bluetooth connectivity for wireless control with Honda's My Generator smartphone app. Go with a Honda EU Series generator. It's power you can trust. Cash Honda at the light in Hyde Park.
There's just so many sounds that make the holidays great. The laughter and the warm conversations held with family and friends. Kids softly giggle in the background as we gather at Grandma's house on Christmas Eve. Don't miss a moment of this holiday season. Come into Cache Valley Hearing and Audiology to receive a free hearing exam. Dr. Daines has years of experience and expertise, so give him a call at 435-753-4327. That's 753-HERE, and have a Merry Christmas season and Happy Holidays.
For the people.
We are waiting with bated breath for news from the Cache Republican Party meeting an executive committee tonight.
With Jason Williams.
And I'm really excited about this next segment. We have 2 guests here in studio. We're going to talk about something that we've talked about many times here on the show, but from a bit of a different angle.
Weekday afternoons from 4 till 6 on News Talk KVNU, 610 AM and 102 FM.
Welcome to KVNU's For the People. It is Friday, December 9th. I'm Jason Williams, Bill Walter here in the studio as well. Andy Morgan on his way for an extended For the People movie show, which we'll get to near the bottom of the hour. We have a lot to talk about. The Avatar sequel finally here, and it has a big bar to meet, considering the price tag, but also the expectations set over the last decade plus since the first movie by director, writer, and producer James Cameron. Is it living up to it? We'll talk about streaming services as well on the movie show today, with the second season of White Lotus topping the charts, and a lot of anticipation for a whole slew of holiday movies from Netflix, Hulu, Amazon Prime, HBO Max, and more. All of that coming up on the For the People movie show. Later on this hour, we'll talk in greater detail about a story kind of making the rounds here in Utah. You've even heard it discussed here on our airwaves. But a former Utah sheriff and conservative celebrity, Sheriff Mack, as he's known, he's fringe. He's out there. He's part of the posse comitatus crowd that believe that the county sheriffs, elected sheriffs, are the real final line and interpreters of the Constitution, and all else is just window dressing. It's a movement that, thankfully, like the sovereign citizen movement, has never really caught on outside of fringe circles, but he's made himself kind of a conservative celebrity for a couple of presidential campaigns and even a regular at RNC events. And he's in the news here in Utah this week because he, along with many others, appear to be a part of a murder trial that led to a conviction and a man now on death row. And it looks like witnesses were bribed. It looks like confessions were coerced. And it looks like a new trial is likely going to be slated for this man who is on, I think, his 7th appeal at this point on death row here in Utah. We'll talk more detail about that in a few minutes. First, though, as part of our efforts to dial things down a little bit, reduce some of the rhetoric out there, we'll kick off the final for this week installment of Your Headlines with Smooth Jazz. Governor Cox unveiled his budget this week, quite a bit in it, but getting the most attention, a proposal in the governor's budget for a $6,000 raise for teachers here in Utah. Teacher specialists would receive $6,000, $4,000 to their salary and for the year, and the other amount of money going to their benefits. And the governor said, I'm proposing $200 million directly to teachers, $6,000 to salary, $4,000 to benefits, and that is not through the weighted pupil unit. So that would be an additional increase to overall education spending this year in the legislature's final budget, which they'll get to work on in January. The governor spoke at great length about this in what is a multi-stop unveiling of his budget. Today he was further south in Utah. He's touring the budget, basically. Today he talked about tax cuts and spending on infrastructure. Yesterday, though, during this initial event in Salt Lake City, the governor said this was necessary for teacher retention, but also to show thanks for the work the teachers do and the important role of public education when it comes to Utah's economy and attracting businesses and jobs in. The governor, his announcement, though, was metered a bit by reporting from the Salt Lake Tribune showing that lawmakers, aware of this proposal from the governor, plan to maybe poison pill it and attach it to a requirement for a voucher program, basically saying, bluffing the teachers union and teachers in the state, saying, we dare you to oppose this. If you want to shoot down your own raises to oppose a voucher program, great. Public reaction to this has been not great. Vouchers, of course, 3 times in a row have been fought for by lawmakers and never publicly popular outside of, like, say, Orem. So we'll see how this plays out overall in the end. Restoration efforts for the Bear River as part of the Northwestern Band of the Shoshone Tribe, Navajo Nation, and others working together to restore the site of the Bear River Massacre and build a cultural center there. Not part of their original goal, but something they're definitely highlighting with the focus on saving the Great Salt Lake. Their river restoration efforts in the area have already shown to increase water flow. The Bear River, of course, the Great Salt Lake's most important source of water, and as these restoration efforts to get the land back to what it would have looked like at the time of the tribes, occupying the area and the time of the Bear River Massacre, has taken a lot of work. But as they've been doing this, removing things that aren't native, removing structures that aren't part of the natural flow of the river, the water flow has increased, and they've already shown that the Bear River's own tributaries that had been dammed and diverted for other reasons, converted into ditches and things like that, increasing the flow into the river, which is, of course, increasing the flow into the Great Salt Lake. So some welcome news there. Former North Logan Mayor and USU political science professor Damon Kahn spoke to students this week at Utah State University on the topic of politics, specifically political extremism and political divisions Can cited Pew Research showing that Americans are avoiding politics in general as a topic of conversation or as something to enjoy with friends and family. And Can said this it makes sense. As the two parties have gotten more extreme, in his opinion, it has this effect. But he said, he told students and faculty on hand for this meeting, he gave this quote to some of the student journalists at the USU Statesman.
One of my greatest hopes for the future comes from my experiences here with USU students. In every class that I teach, I have a wide range of students on the political spectrum, and I am always heartened by the way that the students are respectful to each other, about ways that they are kind to each other, and that they understand that some people in class are going to express different political views than what they hold, and I think they just want to learn and understand.
Those words, again, part of a speech Can gave to students, political science journalism students and otherwise, saying, don't give hope up in all of this. It might seem bad right now, but his experiences, students want to learn and are continuing to do so. One last story here for our politics and smooth jazz segment. During the election, things went really well here in Utah, as they usually do, but one county continues to be plagued by trouble, and that is the San Juan County area. The trouble they're being plagued with is not voter fraud or any of those other myths out there. The trouble they're being plagued with is that it is an extremely rural county. Voter turnout, while higher in the last midterm elections than historically is the case in the county, has still, Navajo Nation leaders and county leaders in San Juan believe, lower than it should be because of what even county leaders said was the county's lack of communication with the clerk's office, troubles with printers trying to do things on the cheap when it came to printing the ballots led to some snafus this year, and in general making it easier for voters to vote. All of that, they said, needed some work to bring the county up to match the rest of the state. Those are your headlines with Smooth Jazz. We'll be back with more of For the People right after this.
Every year, our family tradition is to meet at Merrill Family Christmas Trees to let the children choose the tree. With a twinkle of magic in their eye, they run from tree to tree looking for the perfect one. I just sit back and watch as the grandchildren scurry around full of excitement for the coming season. And I can't help but hope we're not the only ones who make this a tradition.
Merrill Family Holiday Sales and the Christmas Shop, now located at the Y intersection in South Logan, making Christmas real since 1992. You're in the market to buy a home and dreaming of a new home you can fill with new memories. But homes just aren't in your budget. Or are they? Visionary Homes wants you to know you don't have to buy a used home. Buy new. Buy now with Visionary Homes. As a trusted award-winning Utah home builder, Visionary Homes understands that your home is the center of your life, bringing friends and family together, creating memories you'll cherish forever. Buy new. Buy now. VisionaryHomes.com.
Visionary Homes.
If your saving for retirement approach involves the phrase, "I'll get around to it someday," Edward Jones can help. When it comes to meeting your goals, time can be on your side. And there's no better time than now to get started toward your retirement goals. Edward Jones Financial Advisors can help. Stop by one of the 7 Edward Jones offices in Cache Valley. Edward Jones, making sense of investing. Member SIPC.
Welcome back to KVN News for the People. Republicans and conservatives will recognize this, but it is a story making the rounds here in Utah. And if you've heard the name Sheriff Mack, Richard Mack is his name. He's better known as Sheriff Mack, as a sort of a cult-like celebrity in conservative circles. And back in 1985, Richard Mack, Sheriff Mack, was a young cop in the Provo Police Department. And he worked his way up from, the starting out in Provo Police is with parking tickets, and eventually found his way into helping on a pretty high-profile murder case here in Utah. And last month, a judge overturned the conviction from that mid-'80s murder trial. Judge overturned. The man's name is Douglas Carter. He was convicted and has appealed that conviction multiple times, and then last month was successful in his appeal. And again, the conviction was overturned. But why? It looks like over the course of the investigation, Richard Mack, Sheriff Mack, working again with Provo Police Department in the mid-'80s, his lieutenant and a prosecutor, the three of them collaborated to violate this accused man's constitutional rights and ended up putting him on death row for what ended up being 37 years as of that overturning of the conviction last month. The scheme, as it was described by District Court Judge Derek Paulin, this ruling out just before Thanksgiving, the scheme dissected in 116 pages of the court opinion. That is, for perspective out there, that is a very detailed opinion. And issued just before Thanksgiving, it said that the three, cites a bunch of different things, paid more than $4,000 to key witnesses, threatened them for deportation, and coaching them to lie on the stand to cover up gifts and threats. The Salt Lake Tribune reporting that it worked. Obviously, for more than 3 decades, Carter was behind bars, and that turn of events that led to the overturning of the conviction was witnesses who spoke against him over the 37 years since the trial. Guilt got to them, and they came forward and said, well, they just came forward and told the truth. They said, some of them said, we were given $4,000 to be witnesses. They also admitted to being coached by Richard Mack and the prosecutor to lie on the stand, and that they were also, some of them said they were threatened with deportation if they didn't agree to be witnesses to this murder. And, I mean, it's shocking that, I mean, it was 1985. That was a while ago, but it was not that long ago. So it's shocking to think of something like this, happening even then without, somehow this scheme to convict a man that the court now believes was not the murderer. And there's two things about this that make me angry. Obviously there's plenty of reason to get mad at Richard Mack, then a Provo Police Department officer, and his lieutenant and the prosecutor working together to convict an innocent man for 37 years is disgusting. And I hope they are held accountable for that. And that part of the process comes next. But the other part of this that's tragic is that the family, who have believed for 37 years that justice was done, that the man who murdered their loved one and caused them all the pain that would go with that, had been convicted. Now they have to deal with the fact that, that isn't what happened. And because it's been 37 years, the person who actually committed this heinous crime is likely never going to be caught. Carter's attorney, after the judge detailed the 116-page court opinion of this scheme to convict an innocent man, the man's attorneys, Carter's attorney, Eric Zuckerman, summarized the impact of Richard Mack, his lieutenant, and the prosecutor's actions by saying, for 37 years, the state of Utah has imprisoned Mr. Carter on death row based on an unconstitutional conviction and sentence secured through perjured testimony and secret payoffs to witnesses. These actions undermine the integrity of Utah's justice system and its use of the death penalty. Indeed, the case points to some pretty deep flaws, and as Salt Lake Tribune columnist Robert Gerke adds to the overall story, this does raise, the questions about the death penalty again in Utah. Had the death penalty as sentenced by the court in 1985 been carried out, this would have meant an innocent man would have been put to death by the state, which is the argument that even some conservative Republicans here in Utah have. In fact, the bill to repeal the death penalty was sponsored by a conservative Republican last year. It is the argument they use, saying that we know this happens. I mean, this is a regular occurrence as technology improves, as the case in this situation. Time goes by, and those who are a part of some sort of scheme to convict an innocent person feel guilty and come forward. We all know that innocent people have been convicted of murder and obviously lesser crimes too, but in the murder being the most serious potential sentence of a death penalty, understandably gets the most attention. No one, in a perfect world, no one innocent would end up behind bars for any amount of time, but we know it happens. And when it comes to the death penalty, Utah state lawmaker Lowry Snow, who sponsored the bill to do away with the death penalty in last year's legislative session, he said, this argues the same point he was trying to make as a sponsor of that bill. He says it argues problems with the system, which raise a risk of executing the wrong person, and decades of appeals that take a toll on a victim's families. He cited this story specifically involving Sheriff Richard Mack, then again as a Provo police officer, and their scheme to pay witnesses and basically concoct a case against Douglas Carter. Lowry Snow said this is the example that everyone should think of, and also understand that it doesn't always include the same details as this story, but that any one of us could find ourselves in a situation of being targeted for a crime we didn't commit. In the case of the death penalty, though, he said that's not one you can take back. If Douglas Carter had been put to death, obviously there'd be no way for actual justice to be served, as was the case, Snow said, with the judge overturning the conviction, which, again, the court announced just before Thanksgiving. So expect this one to come back. I haven't heard yet whether Snow or others have opened a bill file on repealing the death penalty. I know that it's not the first. Last year wasn't the first time it's come up. Last year was the first time it got as much traction as it did, and so we'll see if it moves even further beyond this. But this man, again, sat on death row and likely would have been executed by the state of Utah had and get this, it was a single two individuals coming forward that led to all of this coming to light. Their last name is Tovars, and these two individuals came forward. Tovar was one individual, another individual not named in the Tribune's reporting, and this Mr. Tovar came forward. If he hadn't, none of this would be coming to light. Salt Lake Tribune columnist Robert Gerke also details other stories. Elroy Tillman's death sentence reduced to life in prison after it was revealed the prosecutors had concealed two key witnesses interviews that would have aided the defense. The Von Taylor, this is kind of a famous one, the Von Taylor death sentence overturned after ballistics and forensic evidence showed that he didn't fire the fatal shots in a really, really gruesome murder. Appeals court reinstated the sentence later on that one because there was enough evidence to say he was still an accomplice, but he was originally sentenced with actually committing the murder. And these are all examples, Gerke writes in his column, of the need to revisit any justice that might believe to exist around the death penalty, in contrast with the potential for injustice of putting an innocent person to death. So if you want to read the full story, I've linked to reporting from the Deseret News and Salt Lake Tribune on the judge's 116-page opinion overturning Douglas Carter's conviction in 1985 and citing conservative celebrity Sheriff Mack, Richard Mack, who was then a young cop at the Provo Police Department, and a peer, a lieutenant in the office as well, and what I would guess is an overzealous prosecutor. Not that it excuses their actions, but this was a really high-profile case. There was probably a lot of pressure on I guarantee there was a lot of pressure on the prosecutor to get someone and have a conviction soon. But in this case, paying witnesses $4,000 to be witnesses, threatening deportation, and even coaching witnesses to say the right things in the court. Judge ruling in a 116-page opinion that this was a complete violation. This was District Court Judge Derek Pullen, just before Thanksgiving, a complete violation of Douglas Carter's rights, and a clear reason, without question, to overturn the 1985 murder conviction. Again, likely not to be any consequences for Sheriff Mack or anyone else involved in this. And also, it is likely to be appealed by the Attorney General's office, though based on the length of the court's opinion and the detail that is in it, 116 pages, that appeal, I'm guessing, will be unsuccessful. Frustrating story. To say it makes you mad is an understatement. And, I'm guessing this means there will be yet another debate over the death penalty here in Utah coming up in this very next legislative session, with this story at the center of it. Links to the reporting and the column I cited from the Tribune's Robert Gehrke talking about some of the other situations here in Utah similar to this, linked on our Facebook page. And we'll be back. Remember, an extended movie show starting in a little while here with Andy Morgan. We've got Avatar in studios. We've got a lot hitting the streaming services. Big announcements as far as holiday movies, if you're a fan, especially. All that coming up in a bit. We'll be back with more of For the People right after this.
KBNU News Time is 4:36. I'm Bill Walter with this news update brought to you by U&I Furniture. As part of routine end-of-year chores, Ernesto Lopez was appointed chairman of the Logan Municipal Council for 2023. This past Tuesday, December 6th, Lopez will succeed Council member Jeannie Simmons, who served as chair of the City Council in 2022, effective January 1st. Lopez was nominated by Council member Amy Z. Anderson, and that motion was seconded by Council member Tom Jensen. The nomination was then unanimously endorsed by other council members. Lopez joined the Logan Municipal Council in October 2020 after being selected to serve out the unexpired term of former council member Jess Bradfield. He was subsequently reelected to the at-large position in November 2021. A native of Tijuana, Lopez has been a resident of Logan for more than 20 years. He is an instructional course designer for the Extension Service at Utah State University. His previous professional experience includes serving as a distance learning manager and technical trainer for Harris Research, managing the Logan Multicultural Center, and serving low-income families at Bear River Head Start. On a volunteer basis, Lopez is chairman of the Logan City Library Latino Advisory Council, which organizes the annual Hispanic Heritage Festival in Logan. He's also a member of the Educational Excellence for Latinos Initiative at Logan High School, where Lopez has been involved in organizing the school's Latino Education Fair. In other business on Tuesday, Council member Anderson was unanimously appointed as the Council's vice chair for 2023. Its December 6th meeting was the final gathering of the Municipal Council for 2022. Council members had previously voted to cancel their regularly scheduled meeting, which would have been held on Tuesday, December 20th. KBNU News Time is 4:39.
You'll love the holiday specials and big selection when you shop at U&I Furniture. Got guests coming? How about their best-selling mattress, a Therapeutic Serene featuring a zone coil system, comfy stretch knit top, only $399 for the queen size. For Christmas, a TV? How about 50 different console choices from small to large, with or without fireplaces, and over 200 chairs on display, including the best in recliners. They offer free layaway and prices you'll love. A local standard when it comes to furniture. There's always a better buy at U&I Furniture, U&I Downtown Logan.
KVNU News Time, 4:39. A 51-year-old Utah man died in a snowmobile crash in Wasatch County. Officials with the Wasatch County Sheriff's Office said they responded to the area around 12:30 p.m. on Tuesday near the Lake Creek area on Tower Mountain. A man identified as Bruce Cook of Highland was riding a snowmobile and struck a boulder hidden under fresh snow. According to authorities, Cook was pronounced dead at the scene from his injuries. Officials said that Cook and the group he was riding with were all properly equipped and experienced riders. And no major injuries were reported after a helicopter crash involving a wildlife capture crew that was GPS collaring mountain goats in the La Salle Mountains on Thursday. The crash happened at about 11:15 a.m., according to the Utah Department of Natural Resources. A witness told San Juan County officials that they saw a metallic blue helicopter go down in steep terrain on the mountain peak, but did not see any smoke or fire. The wildlife capture crew of 3 contracted by the DWR were on board the helicopter and were collaring the mountain goats for an ongoing study. No employees were on board no DWR employees were on board the helicopter, and all 3 crew members were not hurt, according to officials. KVNU weather for tonight: partly cloudy skies this evening, then mostly cloudy skies. Overnight low tonight near 15. Cloudy and around 40 degrees on Saturday. Saturday night, slight chance of snow, and then a chance of snow after midnight. Mostly cloudy, mid-20s. South winds 15 to 25 miles an hour. Saturday night, snow likely. Sunday morning, rain and snow in the afternoon, with accumulations possible during the day Sunday, high around 40. And it's been to 34. Right now it's 30 at KVNU. KVNU weather brought to you by Mount Logan Laundry, located at 1st East and 7th South in Brigham City. Mount Logan Laundry will give you the quickest and cleanest wash in town. For more details on these and other stories, visit CashValleyDaily.com. Let's check Wall Street now with Edward Jones.
This is Branch Office Administrator Brittany Chambers bringing you the Daily Financial Market Report on behalf of Financial Advisor Daryl Arnell and Edward Jones. Stocks moved lower on Friday as the S&P 500 ended the week down over 3%. On Friday morning, Producer Price Index inflation data came in above forecasts, while University of Michigan one-year inflation expectations eased. Markets are largely looking towards next week's CPI inflation print on Tuesday and the Fed meeting on Wednesday as drivers heading into the year end. In Edward Jones' view, there is likely a binary outcome in markets based on this inflation reading. If inflation comes in line or notably lower than expectations, markets will likely move higher, and if inflation disappoints, we could see volatility heading into year end. Meanwhile, yields rose today, but continue to remain below recent highs, with the 10-year Treasury yield around 3.59%, well below the 4.25% levels reached in October. This likely reflects the rising concerns around economic growth that markets are anticipating in the next couple of quarters ahead. Today, U.S. equities closed lower. The Dow closed down 305 points, or 0.9%, at 33,476. The Nasdaq closed down 77 points, or 0.7%, at 11,005. The S&P 500 closed down 29 points, or 0.0073, at 3,934. And in the bond market, 10-year Treasury yields are trading at 3.58% higher by 0.09 percentage points. In stocks of local interest, Nucor was down $3.78 to $147.07. Pepsi was down 68 cents to $183.10. Thermo Fisher was down $7.72 to $560.23. Walmart was down $3.47 to $145.31. Zions Bank was up 11 cents to $47.49. And Northrop Grumman was down $11.61 to $528.94. This has been today's Financial Market Report brought to you on behalf of Edward Jones, member SIPC, and financial advisor Daryl Arnell, serving individual investors with personalized attention and financial advice. If you would like additional information, please contact an Edward Jones branch office in Providence, Logan, or Smithfield. Daily commentary is also located on our website at edwardjones.com.
When deciding on a Medicare plan, don't be just another number. Expect to be known and valued at Jessup Insurance and Retirement Services. Think about this. When you respond to a national Medicare mailer or an 800 number, or even give your life's history to an out-of-state telemarketer, the reality is this. You will never speak to the same person twice, and they don't have your best interest at heart. At Jessup Insurance, you will never be just another number. Call Jessup Insurance at 435-213-3200 for personal Medicare help today.
Jessup Insurance and Retirement Services, let us guide you.
The Cache Valley Figure Skating Club presents Winter Wonderland at the Eccles Ice Center. Join the party Saturday, December 10th with a show at 5 and 7:15. Tickets are $5 at the door for general admission. The Winter Wonderland show features local skaters showcasing their amazing talents. Support the Cache Valley Figure Skaters for an amazing show the entire family will love. Saturday at 5 and 7:15 at the Eccles Ice Center, North Logan.
We try to touch on every big anniversary that comes around each and every year. By the way, if you missed it, I found a nugget that we haven't included in our traditional Pearl Harbor. I like on Pearl Harbor Day, I like to go back as part of memorializing that day and play some of those original early morning radio broadcasts, because it was really a moment for radio that hadn't. Radio had its close calls with everyone waking up and saying, "Ooh, this is the thing," and obviously it had been a family favorite source of entertainment for a generation at the time of the attacks on Pearl Harbor.
It was really radio's first breaking news event.
Yeah, it was the first time radio was no longer. You have to go back through history and see. Radio was kind of looked at the same way we might look at in today's world Netflix or Hulu. No one's poo-pooing it. We're all paying and subscribing and utilizing it. But you wouldn't, if surveyed, you wouldn't call it, necessary, right? And Pearl Harbor, as you said, Bill, it was really that first moment when I think people, including politicians, who would be writing media laws and things like that, as they're prone to do. It was the first time they realized that radio, that I think there was this mass awareness suddenly. The radio was this really, without compare, news source. And Bill and I, our newsroom, we not that we celebrate these things, because oftentimes, sadly, it's a tragedy or at very least a natural disaster style huge inconvenience or bad weather. But we on a daily basis get to see how quickly. In fact, I wish everyone could be exposed to a radio station's newsroom at times, because when there is a breaking story, because literally we will hear about it and the details that are available once they're sufficient enough. You can't just break on and sound like the police scanner. Something's happening here. Good luck, everybody. That would be irresponsible reporting. But as soon as there are details to report, those literally can come into our newsroom and be out in the public ears in seconds. I mean, however long it takes a news member team to walk down the hall from the newsroom to our studio, that's literally how long it takes for word to start getting out.
Well, and in the morning, if there's traffic problems.
Oh, sure.
The canyon's closed.
Yeah, people call Craig and Al, and
and Will have that as well, and he'll let all the stations know, so that all those radio groups, the morning shows here at the ranch can tell people what's happening.
Sure, and it's fascinating. It's also one of the reasons. This seems like a bit of a dichotomy, but I trust me, they're similar in ways. But it's also one of the reasons I love Twitter. Twitter is the most immediate news aggregation service that you'll find on the social media platforms. Facebook's algorithm makes it useless for that. Instagram is not widely used for that type of thing. TikTok more and more so, but still it's not the predominant content you'll find on TikTok or Snap, the short video services. But Twitter, if you're following the right sources, I follow a lot of local sources, and you can just launch the app, and if you've got it set to reverse chronological timeline, you can see things as they're happening. So when there's an event, it's great for following along. And the only thing that really compares is radio. We can cover events live. Anyway, so check that out. It's part of the podcast from 2 days ago, December 7th, as part of memorializing the anniversary of December 7th, 1941 Pearl Harbor attacks. So I play those video clips, but there was also something this year new that we hadn't included in our annual tradition for Pearl Harbor Day, which was Eleanor Roosevelt's speech that evening. She was, because of the way security worked and the president and the cabinet not being able to be, to announce their public location, the president couldn't give a unifying, everybody hold tight, calm down, don't panic address, as would be tradition today within hours, via some sort of live stream or something. So Eleanor Roosevelt gave a radio address that evening, and it's really kind of a unique thing to hear and not often spotlighted in remembrance of Pearl Harbor. So that was on December 7th show. So check that out in the podcast from Wednesday's show. With that in mind, another anniversary to spotlight this week, more in the science world. Well, definitely in the science world, not just more. It was 50 years ago, 50 years ago today. Well, now there's some disagreement on that. I should preface this. Some actually claim that the date it should be remembered as is actually December 2nd, because that's when the scientific incident occurred that led to this breakthrough. Scientists and science historians, though, will tell you it is December 9th that should be remembered as the day, because unlike the day that it actually happened, December 9th was when scientists came forward and said, all of our rigorous testing and peer reviewing, we can now confirm this is actually what happened. So on December 2nd, not officially confirmed and signed off on by the scientific community until December 9th, scientists for the first time found something we take for granted now, which was the speed of light. It was a group at the National Bureau of Standards in Boulder, Colorado. And they when they discovered this, quote unquote, on December 2nd, they didn't really know what they were seeing, or if they had an idea. They were trying to do a measurement of the speed of light using a wavelength and a frequency, and what was a helium neon laser. It's complicated, but it's also kind of cool to see. There's video out there. And the results returned were 299,792,456 kilometers per second. And they thought when that speed was returned by this helium neon laser measurement device, which again, wavelengths, frequencies, combination of the two, they were pretty sure on December 2nd that was likely the speed of light. But it took until December 9th for them to confirm that. So again, science historians say December 9th is the day that scientists could officially say they had discovered the speed of light. This was a 1972 experiment, not expected to actually be successful. And to measure the speed of light, it had to be a two-way process. Measuring the average speed of photons as they traveled from their source, a photon gun of types, to a reflective surface, which was similar to photo paper, basically, photo stock, like a strip of film stock. And the result, which has held up to this day, despite rigorous attempts to prove whether or not they got it right, in each test, it is held up. Scientists redefined what was previously thought to be the standard speed of light, or the standard speed of a photon, same thing. It's pretty amazing stuff. The reason this is such a monumental event is that everything about physics since it builds on this solitary confirmation of the speed of light. It was impossible for physicists to move forward in certain realms. Relativity, things like that have been around a long time, had come to a bit of a standstill in 1972. They'd gone as far as they could go without additional information about the workings of the universe. And in order to confirm some of the theories or deny them, they needed to know the exact speed of light, as much as, it's possible to be exact on anything. And that had just mystified them for years and eluded them in many things. So the measurement, which scientists say is actually impossible. This is the funny thing about it, Bill. Scientists also concede this is actually an impossible measurement to make. So they're at the same time saying we have confirmed the speed of light through this twofold measurement system. They're also at the same time saying this is an impossible thing to actually measure. Which is,
but they confirmed it.
Yeah, and so what they're actually confirming is that the speed of light is no slower than that. Things that haven't been confirmed, we do not know today whether light can actually move faster than this. It's possible, and that could have ramifications in the world of physics. It's thought not to be the case, but it's possible that certain aspects of the physical universe could actually cause time to move, or light to move faster, and time to move faster or slow down. But they believe that one of the unchangeable physical characteristics of our universe is that light cannot move slower than 299 million. I'm not going to do it again. Kilometers per second.
Blah blah blah.
And that then served as a platform for quantum physics, further expanding and understanding relativity, all of that. And again, it happened December 9th, or was confirmed, rather. It happened December 2nd. It was confirmed to be accurate and repeatable by scientists all around the world once word got out December 2nd. On December 9th, 1972, the official recognized date of the discovery of the speed of light. We'll be back right after this.
Hi, this is Scott Howder. At Allen Mortuaries, we're mindful of the challenges and changes families who have lost loved ones experience during the holidays. We're also aware of the love, hope, and generosity of others. You are in our thoughts and prayers this holiday season, and we're also available to provide a measure of support whenever needed. We're always here to help. It's what we've been doing for over 80 years. Sincerely wishing you happy holidays from all of us at Allen Mortuaries. Then, now, always.
This Christmas, give her a special gift from the gift department at S.E. Needham Jewelers. All gifts are carefully wrapped with our signature gold and burgundy gift wrap, and it's done free of charge. S.E. Needham's is an authorized dealer of Yadro figurines. This collection of fine porcelain is made in Europe with depictions of the Nativity, Santa Claus, Mother and Child, or family. It will serve as heirlooms for future generations. Or consider music or jewelry boxes or home decor. Come shop today. Open Monday through Saturday, 10 to 7. S.E. Needham Jewelers, middle of the block at the sign of the clock.
Daryl's Appliance is feeling the Christmas spirit and wants to spread some cheer. Join them December 17th to enter to win a KitchenAid stand mixer and other prizes at Daryl's during their in-store event. Get some hot cocoa and a picture with their special guests, Santa and Mrs. Claus. They have Christmas specials all December on GE, Whirlpool, and other appliances. Plus, get 12 months interest-free financing and Daryl's famous service that backs every sale. Only at Daryl's, west on Airport Road.
Hi, this is Gordon Deal. Monday on This Morning, America's First News. The Fed might need a new approach in its battle against inflation. Hear why one economist is recommending more action and less talk. Also, conflicting signals are everywhere for the housing market these days. Hear why forecasters are disagreeing over its direction. And how to prevent an office romance from driving your career off a cliff. Monday on This Morning, America's First News. Monday morning from 4 to 6 on News Talk KVNU, 610 AM and 102 FM.
That's it for hour one of today's show. Every story we've talked about this hour, I've linked to on our Facebook page, including this really fascinating article, which I only got to the tip of the iceberg on on the anniversary of the discovery official of the speed of light, December 9th, 1972, when it was confirmed. Link to all of that on our Facebook page. Coming up, the For the People movie show, Avatar 2. A lot hitting the streaming services. Some controversy over White Lotus Season 2. The holiday programming from Netflix, Hulu, Amazon Prime, and more, all out. All of it up for discussion, and we'll get to that with Andy Morgan and the For the People movie show right after this here on KVNU Logan.